For most of human history, the stars had been distant ornaments, beautiful, unreachable, and quiet. But on a cold January night in 2037, inside the deep space listening array in Nevada, the silence of the cosmos cracked. Dr. Elara Myles hadn't expected anything unusual. She was halfway through a thermos of stale coffee, staring at the scrolling lines of data on her monitor, numbers and noise, the usual cosmic background hum. But then, in the middle of the static, a perfect pattern emerged. 3 pulses, pause, 5 pulses, pause, 8 pulses, a Fibonacci sequence. Elara froze. Her first thought was that the system was malfunctioning. Her second, far more dangerous, was that someone, somewhere, was speaking. She replayed the recording. The pulses were too precise, too evenly spaced to be natural, and they were coming from a star system 1,400 light-years away, Kepler-452, home to the first Earth-like exoplanet humanity had ever discovered. Kepler-452b. Martin, she said, barely breathing, you need to look at this. Her colleague, Dr. Martin Hale, shuffled over, rubbing his eyes, but the moment he saw the pattern, sleep evaporated from his face. That's intentional, he whispered. Someone encoded this, before they could process the implications. The signal returned stronger, clearer, as if the sender realized they had been heard. A new message scrolled across their screens, this time forming symbols rather than pulses. The symbols shifted, aligned, and slowly began resembling shapes. A circle, a triangle, a vertical line, repeating, evolving, becoming more complex. It's a language, Elara said. It's a greeting, Martin replied. The room suddenly felt smaller. Every console beep echoed like a heartbeat. The walls hummed with electricity. For the first time in human history, the universe was not silent. By morning, the discovery had reached Washington, then Geneva, then every major scientific institution across the world. Armed soldiers appeared around the listening array. Satellite images of the facility were censored. Elara and Martin were sworn to secrecy under threat of imprisonment. But secrets, like signals, have a way of spreading. When the global scientific coalition finally decrypted the second layer of the message, the meaning sent chills down every spine. We see you, we know you are not alone. The world erupted, panic, disbelief. Religious leaders proclaimed prophecy. News stations ran non-stop coverage. Billionaires fought to control the information. Nations pointed weapons at the sky, afraid of what might follow. Amid the chaos, Elara tried to maintain her composure, but deep inside, she felt something she had never felt before, not fear, not excitement, but recognition. The signal wasn't random, it wasn't accidental. It was crafted, deliberate, intelligent, and then came the final part of the transmission, one that no scientist could ignore. A map, a detailed, unmistakable star map showing Earth, and showing Kepler-452 to be connected by a thin, glowing line, a trajectory, a path, a message not of observation but of invitation. Something on Kepler-452b was calling for them, and it wanted humans to come. The world had never agreed on anything quickly. Not on borders, not on resources, not even on the definition of peace. But the moment the alien star map was verified, everything changed. Within 48 hours, the United Nations established the Interstellar Contact Task Force, a coalition of the brightest minds from every major nation. Their mandate was simple but terrifying: determine whether humanity should answer the call. Dr. Elara Myles was flown to Geneva under armed escort, inside a cavernous, windowless room beneath the UN headquarters. She joined 40 other scientists, military strategists, diplomats, and ethicists. Screens glowed along the walls. The air tasted metallic, heavy with tension. General Rousseau, head of global security, opened the meeting with blunt gravity. If we proceed, Earth will send its first interstellar delegation. If we refuse, we risk insulting a civilization far more advanced than our own. A Chinese physicist raised his hand. We don't know that they're advanced. General Rousseau shook his head. They sent a message across 1,400 light-years, encoded in mathematical sequences and symbolic structures we've only begun to understand. That alone places them centuries ahead of us. But what if? A European diplomat stammered. What if it's a trap? The question hung in the air like a blade. Elara didn't speak. She watched the faces around her, fear, curiosity, ambition, but above all, uncertainty. No one knew whether humanity was stepping toward enlightenment or extinction. At the center of the table lay the alien star map. Every scientist had confirmed its accuracy. It wasn't just showing a route, it was showing a safe route, one that aligned with gravitational currents, radiation pockets, and dark space voids humans had only theorized about. The message was clear. Follow this path and you will survive the journey. No species would offer such guidance unless they wanted contact. But why? On the second day, the debate intensified. Militaries feared invasion. Corporations demanded exclusive rights. Religious factions claimed revelation. Protesters clogged city streets, carrying signs that read, "Don't go, they are watching, we are not ready." But something deeper began spreading online, the belief that humanity was being chosen for a purpose. Sermons, podcasts, even underground forums spoke of destiny. On the fourth night, Elara found herself alone on a balcony overlooking Lake Geneva. She stared at the moon's reflection trembling on the water, wondering why the signal felt so familiar, as if it wasn't the first time humans had been contacted, only the first time they had listened. She heard footsteps. Martin Hale joined her, hands in his pockets. "You're quiet," he said. "I'm thinking," she replied, "about the risks." "No," she exhaled, "about the opportunity." Martin leaned on the railing. "They didn't just send a message, they sent a path. They want us to come to them. Doesn't that mean they're confident we can make it?" Or Elara countered softly, "that they need us." That silenced him. The next morning, the task force voted. The decision was not unanimous, but it was decisive. Humanity would answer the signal. A multinational crew would travel to Kepler-452b, and Dr. Elara Myles was selected to lead the scientific delegation. Her heart pounded as she signed the acceptance document, her pen trembling slightly. She knew the truth. This mission would change humanity forever, whether for its salvation or its destruction. The first sight of Kepler-452b left the crew of the Icarus speechless. It was larger than Earth, its surface veiled in swirling clouds of green and gold. Oceans shimmered like liquid emeralds, and mountains jutted jaggedly through the mist. The planet radiated life, but not in a way humanity had ever known. There was a rhythm to it, a pulse that matched the lingering signals they had followed across light years. Elara pressed her hand against the observation window, heart pounding. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Beautiful doesn't cover it," Captain Patel replied. His eyes reflected the strange light. "It's alive." As they entered orbit, the Icarus sensors detected artificial structures, geometric formations unlike anything natural, glowing faintly beneath the clouds. Towers spiraled upward, seemingly made of light itself. Roads or conduits connected them in intricate, patterned networks. And everywhere, energy fields pulsed in synchronization with the signals still echoing through the ship. This is intelligence," Martin Hale breathed. "Not just advanced technology, but something conscious, adaptive, a civilization of pure coordination." The AI chimed in. "Signal analysis indicates multiple communication nodes across the planet. Frequency patterns suggest real-time interaction with your vessel. Estimated civilization, population, unknown." Elara turned to the rest of the crew. "Prepare the landing shuttle. We need to establish contact." The descent was unlike anything humans had experienced. The planet's atmosphere shimmered with colors that had no names, reacting to the Icarus energy fields. Winds, gentle yet strangely forceful, guided the shuttle downward. As the craft neared the surface, Elara glimpsed beings tall, lithe, and translucent. Their bodies refracted the planet's light, making them appear as moving prisms. They didn't walk, they glided. Their faces, if they could be called that, showed no eyes, no mouth, yet there was a sense of awareness emanating from them. The shuttle touched down on a glowing platform. The beings approached, their movements fluid, synchronized. Elara felt no fear. Instead, she was overcome with a profound recognition, as if meeting an echo of humanity itself. Then the voice came not through speakers, not through sound, but inside her mind. Clear, precise, alien, yet strangely familiar. "Welcome. We have awaited your arrival for cycles beyond your reckoning. You are the first of your kind to reach understanding." Elara glanced at Martin, his lips parted, but no sound emerged. The crew, frozen in awe, listened as the beings extended, shimmering appendages toward them, gestures of greeting, of offering, of trust. The AI translated the thought frequency patterns into human language as best it could. "They call themselves the Luminara. They communicate through light, thought, and resonance." Elara stepped forward, hand trembling. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding." The Luminara pulsed brighter, and the air itself seemed to vibrate in response. A wave of emotions washed over her. Welcome, curiosity, intelligence, and a deep, almost parental wisdom. And then, an image formed in her mind's agile vision of the universe, not as a silent void, but as a living network of civilizations, connected by signals, light, and understanding. The path you followed, the signal, Elara whispered, realizing the truth. It wasn't just a message. It was a test. The beings pulsed in agreement. Martin finally spoke aloud. And we passed. As the Luminara guided the crew deeper into their glowing city, Elara understood one undeniable fact. Humanity had taken its first true step into the cosmic community. But she also sensed the weight of what lay ahead: lessons, discoveries, and challenges that could reshape the destiny of her species forever. Inside the Luminara city, everything defied human expectations. Buildings were not built, they grew, spiraling upward like crystalline vines. Streets shimmered with prismatic light, flowing in patterns that suggested thought and intent rather than simple infrastructure. Gravity felt subtly different, almost lighter, and the air was filled with soft harmonic vibrations, tones that resonated with the mind more than the ears. Elara and her team were guided into a vast chamber, where walls of light projected images of galaxies, nebulae and stars far beyond human knowledge. The Luminara pulsed in unison with these images, their thoughts forming a narrative that humans could perceive but not fully grasp. Yet the AI translated key elements into data streams. They've existed for millennia, Martin said, his voice hushed. They've observed countless civilizations. They communicate not with words, but with concepts directly transmitting understanding, emotion, and intention. Elara nodded, overwhelmed. And the signal? It wasn't just an invitation. It was an assessment. They wanted to know if humanity could comprehend the fundamental laws of their universe. The Luminara extended a shimmering appendage, and an image coalesced in front of Elara, a lattice of energy threads connecting stars, planets, and civilizations across the galaxy. The threads pulsed in sequences, some faint, some blazing. It was a map of consciousness itself, a network of living intelligence linking countless species. One of the Luminara projected a mental question directly into Elara's mind. Do you wish to join, or to observe? The weight of the choice pressed down on her. Joining meant humanity would enter the network, connected to knowledge and powers beyond imagination, but at what cost? Observation meant learning on their own, slowly, perhaps missing truths that could save or doom them. Elara felt the pulse of the planet beneath her feet, synchronized with the Luminara. She realized that this civilization valued balance, not dominance. Knowledge was not given lightly, it was earned through understanding, empathy, and readiness. Tell them, Elara said to Martin, we are ready. But we must understand responsibility. We are not gods, and we must not forget who we are. The Luminara pulsed brighter, a soundless resonance that washed over the humans like a wave of clarity. Images of distant civilizations, some flourishing, others destroyed by hubris, filled their minds. Elara understood. This was their teaching, their way of guiding the newcomers without direct interference. Humanity is young, the Luminara conveyed. You carry potential and danger. The network will offer wisdom, but only those who choose to learn, to respect, to understand, will thrive. Others will fall, as they have throughout the galaxy. Elara's heart pounded. The stakes were clear. Humanity's arrival was not a casual first contact, it was an invitation to join the cosmic community responsibly. A single misstep could unravel everything. Hours or maybe days passed as the humans absorbed knowledge, guided by the Luminara, mathematics beyond comprehension, energies harnessed from starlight, ethical frameworks that transcended species all streamed into their consciousness. The Luminara were patient teachers, radiating insight without force, illuminating paths and possibilities, but leaving the choice to the humans. Finally, Elara stepped back, overwhelmed but determined. We are ready, she whispered again. We will learn, we will honor this gift. The Luminara's lights shimmered in approval. A pulse of warmth and understanding resonated through the chamber. Humanity's first true ally in the cosmos had been found, but outside the city, the planet's surface hinted at deeper mystery, secrets the Luminara had yet to reveal, tests humanity had yet to face. Days blurred into weeks as the humans learned under the Luminara's guidance. Elara and her team mastered concepts that had once been confined to imagination: energy manipulation, faster than light communication, and the subtle weaving of consciousness across distance. Each discovery carried weight, reminding them that knowledge without wisdom could be as dangerous as ignorance. One evening, standing on a terrace that overlooked the glowing forests and crystalline towers of Kepler-452b, Elara felt a strange calm. The planet's pulses harmonized with her heartbeat, a rhythm that spoke of patience and unity. She realized that the Luminara were not just a civilization, they were a philosophy incarnate. Their every structure, every resonance, every movement embodied balance, understanding, and respect for life. We've learned so much, Martin said quietly beside her. But I wonder, can humanity truly live up to this? Elara smiled faintly. We'll try, that's all we can do. Then came the first real test. The Luminara gathered the humans in the central chamber, where a vast holographic representation of the Milky Way shimmered. Threads of light extended in all directions, representing civilizations both known and unknown. A segment of the galaxy began to flicker, a small region under threat of collapse due to aggression, ignorance, or neglect. The Luminara transmitted a single thought into the humans' minds. Will you act to preserve life, to guide, to protect, or will you remain observers? It was the ultimate question. Elara understood that this was why the signal had been sent across 1,400 light-years. Humanity had been given a choice not just to meet another civilization, but to assume responsibility within a vast cosmic network. Without hesitation, she stepped forward. We will act, we will learn, and we will guide as we can, without arrogance, without selfishness. The Luminara pulsed in radiant approval. The holographic galaxy responded, the flickering region stabilizing as if touched by a gentle hand. Humanity had passed its first trial. In the weeks that followed, Elara's team became ambassadors of Earth. They learned to communicate across vast distances, sending signals not as messages of fear, but as invitations to cooperation. The knowledge they returned with, once shared with humanity on Earth, transformed civilization. New energy systems, medical breakthroughs, and global communication networks emerged almost overnight. Yet Elara knew the journey was only beginning. The Luminara had offered a glimpse of what was possible, but the universe was vast, full of dangers, mysteries, and civilizations that might not share their philosophy. Humanity's place in the cosmos was not guaranteed. It had to be earned, day by day. On the final night before the humans prepared to return to Earth, Elara stood again on the terrace, staring at the stars. Kepler-452b pulsed gently below her, a living city of light and wisdom. She whispered a promise to the alien civilization and to herself. We will honor this gift. We will not squander it. We will rise to meet the universe, together. As the Icarus lifted off, leaving Kepler-452b behind, Earth appeared in the distance, a fragile blue jewel suspended in the darkness. But for the first time, humanity felt connected to something greater than itself, a cosmic web of intelligence stretching across the galaxy. The signal had been received. Humanity had answered. And now, a new dawn awaited, not just for Earth, but for all who were ready to join the chorus of the stars.